Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys, as you know, we have a new episode of Hot Messy Podcast coming out tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who joined us for our live today, our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. It was Ryan Bailey and I. So bad it's good with Ryan Bailey, so make sure to go check that out. Guys, in the last few days, ever since probably about a week before New Year's Eve, we've been talking about this Andy Cohen and all of the issues surrounding him. It was Ryan Seacrest was saying that he should probably not drink on New Year's Eve or national television, especially since last year he drank and then called ABC and all of their performers losers. And then it was after that cussing on air. Then it was allegedly snubbing Ryan Seacrest. It's just been one thing after another for Andy Cohen. And now he's firing back. He's firing back and he's calling out his good friend Anderson Cooper to explain exactly what the happened. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys. So again, Andy Cohen is defending his actions after Ryan Seacrest suggested that he snubbed him amid the New Year's Eve broadcast. Which technically is competing for viewership. We have one network, another network, ABC, you bunch of losers. Your performers are a bunch of losers. I honestly don't know. He pretty much thinks that Ryan Seacrest has a hard on for him, but I think what Andy Cohen is forgetting here is that you're the one who fired shots first publicly. Like, who knows what your conversations are behind the scenes, but you're the one who called him, ABC, and all of their performers a bunch of losers. So if he goes out and just publicly says, maybe drinking alcohol on national television is not the best look, that's really not the end of the world. And he wasn't wrong, because if you saw 2021 going into 2022 of Andy Cohen, I mean, it was fun, but he definitely had to have been embarrassed the next day. Recently, Ryan seemingly shaded Andy's 2022 coverage, suggesting that alcohol consumption influenced Andy to make negative comments about Ryan on the air. During the said program, the Watch What Happens Live host insinuated Ryan's musical performers were losers and that his viewers were watching nothing. Yeah, if you're talking smack, I mean, you're an executive producer of Housewives, right? So you know how this works. Just saying. So funny when the tables turn. I feel like Andy too, and I love me some Ryan Seacrest and Andy Cohen, but I feel like Andy gets people to come to the clubhouse. He does Watch What Happens Live. He gets people to say like these salacious things, and then he gets people to sort of argue and, go back and forth. And then when it's him in the hot seat, it's like, why do you have such a hard on for me? What? Ryan, I don't know. He's got a big up about me 2 weeks in a row. This is what Andy said during his Radio Andy Sirius XM show on Wednesday via Us Weekly. I don't even know I didn't see my co-host, Anderson Cooper, turn around and wave. Usually what Anderson will do, and I should call him back and ask him about this, frankly, but I think he'll yell at me if I do. Usually if he's waving at Ryan, he'll say to me, hey, there's Ryan. You know what I mean? This is not a good cover up. So he's pretty much saying because Anderson didn't tell him there's Ryan, he missed out and he didn't see Ryan. What? Maybe I just don't get it. Both programs took place at Times Square, and Andy noted that he'll usually greet Ryan, and then I'll turn around and wave, or I'll say, there's Ryan, but Anderson didn't do that. Should I call him and yell about it? He's saying, should I call Anderson and yell because, and of course he's probably joking about the Anderson part, but obviously he's talking about all of this, but should I call Anderson and yell at him because he didn't tell me Ryan Seacrest was over there when really you know that big ass stage right behind you is Ryan Seacrest? Am I the only one where this just isn't, is it just me? Maybe it is. He also called the broadcast journalist asking about the incident. You probably don't even know this because you're dealing with like the House vote and all of that. Andy first expressed. But as Andy attempted to question him over Ryan's claim, Anderson interrupted to ask whether Andy would get involved in a thing with Seacrest, get him involved in a thing with Seacrest. This is between you and I. This is a you and I thing because he said on the show that you very politely turned around and waved to him and mouthed to him, "Have a good show," and that I didn't turn around. Andy went on. Anderson then shared that Ryan mouthed Happy New Year to them. Although in the past, Anderson normally notified Andy to wave at Ryan, he didn't this year because Anderson believed his co-host had already greeted him. This sounds so... Okay. Doesn't this sound like it's almost like premeditated? Like, hey, I'm going to call you when I go on air and just make sure that you help me cover this up. Like, just say, you know, normally you have me or you tell me that Ryan's over there, so wave at him. Like, this is such petty shit. I just happened to turn, like, there were a couple of times I looked to see if he was around and I hadn't seen him. And there was one time I just turned around and, you know, he was over there by where they, you know, do that hourly, like, countdown. This is what Anderson is saying. I saw him and we both waved and I said, you know, have a great new year or have a great show. Andy, you were talking and were involved in some producer thing. And so I just didn't tell you to say hi. I mean, it all happened so fast. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, every year we always say hi to him. So I assume maybe you had previously and I was just catching up. Well, works for me. Makes sense to me. He also added, I'm sorry that if, you know, it was a falling out on my part or if it was a falling on my part, but yeah, I hope that didn't contribute to anything. I thought I saw you, you know, waving or something. And he claimed that he would have greeted Ryan had he have seen him. I was just trying to get Duran's attention, seeming to address why he was previously waving in that direction. So this is an absolute shit show. The whole thing's a shit show, and it really doesn't, like, honestly, if we talk about who's more successful, this is an obvious. They're both super successful, but Ryan Seacrest, I would, in my mind, think would be more successful, even though Andy Cohen is the father of Bravo. I think it's comparing apples to oranges. But also, you shot the fire, like you fired the shots first. You said, look at him over there with ABC in the group of losers. And Ryan said you probably only said that because you were drinking, which is probably right. But I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Andy Cohen firing back at Ryan Seacrest over the claims of the New Year's Eve snub. What are your thoughts? Do you even care? Does it even matter? Are we over it? I'm kind of over it at this point. But I did want to ask. And having Anderson Cooper confronting Anderson Cooper to confront this. Guys, go ahead and comment below. Let us know what you think. But more importantly, before you go, don't forget there's a new episode of Hot Messy Podcast that's dropping tomorrow. And then on top of that, we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific, to talk about the Real Housewives of Miami. After that, I'm sure we'll have a lot going on. I know tomorrow is the Jen Shaw sentencing at 10 a.m. I can't believe that's so wild that it's like actually here. I feel like that's been pushed back so many times now, but I'm curious and we'll see what happens. I'm sure everybody's going to be talking about it tomorrow and it's going to be over every major media outlet. So we shall see. Did I miss anything? No. Love you guys. See you next time.